Good evening, everybody. Good evening, good evening. Coming on just a little bit early so I can make sure we don't have any technical difficulties. As you are coming in, if you will say hello and let me know that you are here, that will be wonderful. And let's see, trying to position myself here. Good evening. And if you will just say hello when you come in, that would be so great so I'll know who's here. Let's see. So I'm really excited to come to you again this Wednesday. And I will start about 7:01. Thank you. 7:01 just to give some people some time to get in. So excited to come tonight to talk about money for our midweek money talk. And while we are getting in here, I am Yolanda Makumbe. I am an economic development and social justice advocate. So, my role in society today is to make sure that we are arming our community with financial information so that they can have access to the resources that they need to be able to live a life where they are thriving. And in addition to that, where they can access financial mobility and to be able to reach their financial goals in whatever that looks like for them. So I want to come through every single week to talk about the different aspects of money and how money operates in our lives. And hopefully, what you will gain from it are resources to be able to improve your financial standing in your household and also share this information with other people. So I'll go ahead and get started. And I'll actually start with answering a question that was asked last week, which was a question about debt validation letters for when you feel like you don't have or you don't owe a debt to a company. And I'm going to drop this link in the comments so that you can actually go look at it. It's basically a sample for you to be able to actually write letters to whoever a debt collector is trying to say that you owe them money. And they have about 30 days to answer your request. And if they don't answer your request within that 30 days, they actually have to delete that from your credit report. So that is one of the things that I wanted to bring to you tonight from last week. Today, we are going to talk about your money mindset and how that is important to having this conversation because, we can have this conversation all day, but until your mindset is there, there's really nothing to talk about. You can gather this information, and if you don't really use it, or if your mindset is not in a good space when it comes to money, then you're just going to be, walking in circles. So tonight we're talking about your money mindset. And I want you to be interactive, and I want you to answer questions when I ask questions because this is supposed to be an interactive thing, and I'm really excited to get started. So actually, I wanted to start with something that happened in my financial situation. We've talked about, my financial journey, and I have mentioned how expensive health insurance is for me, myself, and my family, and through my job. And so that takes up a lot of my income. Well, after I did last week's live, the Lord just dropped it in my spirit to go into the marketplace to at least see if I can find cheaper insurance for my son, since he is a 2-year-old and he, doesn't have any health issues, although they can't do anything about that anyway. But because he's young, I figured let me just see if I can have a cost savings here. And come to find out, it led me down this rabbit hole to figuring out that we actually could switch him and my husband off of my insurance onto my husband's insurance with his job at A&T, where he is a part-time professor. And I'm gonna blow you out the water with this number, but with our insurance through my job, it's $920 a month for myself and my family, and just for my son and my husband to be on their insurance at with the state, it was $284. So, y'all, it never hurts to ask. It never hurts to research how you can save money. I don't know why I did not do that sooner. It's it did remind me that when you're in the middle of stuff and you're just literally trying to keep it going and just trying to keep things afloat, that it's hard to really think outside of what you can do with your time and what you can do with your resources. And for me, my son has been on my insurance, and my husband too, since we were married, and then when I had my son. And I could have explored this option a long time ago, but because I was in a position where I, my mindset wasn't there, my mental capacity really couldn't handle any more changes, I didn't think about it. 284 at his job, $284 per month at my husband's job, and it is $920 through my job. So that brings me to the conversation about the money mindset. And I'm coming here every week to have this conversation, and I speak from a different perspective because that's my perspective. However, when having this conversation, it's like everybody's not in the same position that you're in. You don't have everybody's situation is so different, and there are people who are still in the same position of really not being able to think outside of what they're seeing in their situations right now. So this whole money journey, it literally starts with your mind. It starts in your mind. It starts with a mindset, and it's a journey. So it's not something that's going to change overnight, and changing your mind about money is not going to change overnight. So what exactly are you telling yourself about money? What is it that money is supposed to do for you? Are you supposed to make it and spend it? Are you supposed to just make it and keep making some more? Or are you supposed to make it and live? My goal is to make it and live with it. I want to live. I want to thrive. I want to be able to use money as a resource and not as a source. So that is why we are on this journey together, to be able to use money as a resource, because it is just a resource. And because money is a resource, we can actually get our resources from many different places. Did you know that? So, with your jobs, if you are self-employed, if you work for an employer, for me, I work for an employer. However, I'm on this journey to actually create wealth. And wealth is not something that you can do with a 9-to-5 job. You actually have to be able to find different avenues to help you create your wealth. And it's okay. Like, it's okay. I'm now at the point in my life where I can recognize that. I was just listening to the North Carolina Black Women's Roundtable. They were having a live Zoom, and Nia Wilson, or Naya, I think her name was Nia, but she made a distinction between being empowered and having power. And she said that empowered is knowing what the need is. Like, okay, I'm woke, essentially. I'm woke. But power is actually creating the choices that fulfill a need. And that is where this money journey comes into play. You can be empowered about money, but you have to have the power over your money to make the choices and create the choices that you want to make for whatever your life is supposed to look like. So I am very much on this journey to be able to have freedom over my time. And that is what financial freedom looks like for me, having freedom over my time. And hearing that was so significant for me because I hadn't thought about it like that. I know what it means to be empowered. I know what it means to be empowered, but I never thought about how power plays into moving forward. And so you have the power to be able to create the choices that you need to create to be able to create the framework for what you want your life to look like. But you have to be able to have a plan. You have to be diligent. You have to be disciplined, and you have to have the mindset that is going to go with the ebb and flow of what it looks like to create this freedom for yourself. So, one of the things about money is we have these myths, we have truths, and then we place value on money. So, I would like to ask you today, what is the value that you're placing on money in your life? What's the value that you place on money? What is your attitude towards what your money is supposed to do? Is it a resource for you? Is it your source for you? Like I've asked before, do you let your money work for you, or are you working for your money? Do you let your money work for you, or are you working for your money? And depending on whichever side of the coin that you're on in that question, it really dictates where we're starting today. So we've already talked about budgeting or having a money plan. And I've already asked everybody to, start your money plan, start your budget, and get to a point where you know what's coming in and what's going out. Because without knowing that, you don't even really have a place to start. So for you, like, what is your value on money? Is money just piece of paper? I have this dollar right here. What can this dollar do for me? Did I work for this dollar, or is this dollar working for me right now? Right now, I am in the middle. I have some money working for me, and then I am also working for my money. And it's okay to be there. It's okay to be in the space that you're in right now. At least acknowledging where you are is the first step. And acknowledging where you want to be is like the second or the third step in this process because you, how can I say this? It doesn't have you don't have to live paycheck to Monday. You don't have to live paycheck to, you get the rent deposit or you get paid and then the money goes straight to bills. It doesn't have to be that way. We don't have to live that way. Like we absolutely have way more options than we think we do. Whatever resources that you have to use to get to a point where you're not living paycheck to Monday, which we've talked about your safety net programs, that can provide a huge cost savings for you. I just talked about how much money I'm going to save because I was able to switch my insurance, which I had no idea was going to be such a huge cost savings for my family. But I was able to switch my insurance for the year 2021 to be able to free up some more resources so that I can start to build on my plan and to build on investing more and to build on my money goals. So ask those questions, do the research. That's why that budget is important because it gets you to the point where you're starting to ask questions of where can I save money? Is this thing so important to me that I want to continue to spend money on it? Like I really cannot tell you why I was spending so much in health insurance. I can't tell you why. I just think that it was a situation where I had just been in the roller coaster of, being buried under so much stuff going on at the time in our financial situation that I really didn't want to change anything. But imagine had I been in the mindset to change that last year. Dr. Eve is asking, do I pay the insurance in advance? So for my insurance through my job, it's paid every month, which pretty much is the same thing with the insurance that we'll be paying through, now through the state. It'll be paid like in a month in advance, but man, that's the money that you're saving there is huge. Um, your job is a benefactor when you use it to fund your dreams and your business. That's absolutely right. Yes, why so many people were upset about the mandatory health insurance. So, with the mandatory health insurance, health insurance is important for our situation specifically, um, because my husband needs health insurance. Like, it'll be astronomically crazy if we didn't have health insurance to be able to cover some of the things that he has to take care of with his health. But in the grand scheme of things, through my job is self-funded, so that means that they can hike up the price as high as they want to, and they still make the employee pay for it. But when it comes down to, like your what else people call your dependents and your spouse, that's optional. But it how much did I save with the state versus the job? Okay, so $920 is what I was paying through my job for insurance for my family and myself. Okay, $920. Now going into 2021, it'll be $70 for myself through my job and $284 for insurance for my son and my husband through his job with the state. $284. So altogether, I think that's $354 that we'll be paying. So that's about $600 that we're saving a month just from switching insurance. Just from switching insurance. Um, that's going to make a huge difference for our family. A huge difference for our family. Um, oh, can we talk about health insurance for a minute? Okay. So in the process of actually looking for health insurance, I went through the marketplace and actually was looking at the plans that they have. And because we live in Guilford County, there were several different plans that we have access to. But I saw where some of the plans for a cheaper policy, you could only use certain um, networks. So there was one plan that was, like $125 for my son, but the network that we would have to use was called Wake Forest Baptist Health, which is not the network that we currently use. And like his pediatrician was not in there. So in looking at that, it really made me start to wonder, what exactly are we doing with this health insurance stuff? Like, health insurance does not have to be as astronomically expensive as it is. And it totally should be, it should be way more affordable, even more affordable than what it is through the Affordable Health Care Act. Um, I think about people who are in the middle, like myself, where it affected my family like a lot. We that was a lot of money we were spending in health insurance per year. And, in trying to qualify for any type of safety net program when it came to health insurance, like I couldn't get CHIP for my son. And when we tried to get the marketplace for my husband, it was going to be $1,200 for him. Things have to change. I mean, things have to change. It has to change. Um, it's unacceptable the way things are right now, and I just had to get that out because that was a huge thing that has happened just this week in trying to get that situated. But anyway, we're talking about the money mindset. So back to the money mindset. So we talked about budgeting. We already talked about budgeting. And one of the things that we talked about last week was you have to give your money some direction. And if you're not telling your money where to go, guess what's happening? It's telling you what it's going to do. So, as somebody just said, you have to pay your tithes. I pay my tithes first, and then I like to pay myself first. So, as long as those two things are happening first, everything else can come as you have it. And paying tithes is something that everybody doesn't do. Everybody doesn't do whatever their situation is or whatever their reasoning is. But it's so important to be able to at least pay yourself first because if you are putting all of your money out every single month, you're not leaving anything for yourself. You're not leaving room for yourself to be able to catch those falling things like Murphy's Law, like that happens. One of the things that happened to us last year, I think we went to the beach. I want to say we ended up going to the beach, and we just needed a little vacation, and we had a blessing that somebody bestowed upon us, and we were able to go to the beach for a weekend. And that Tuesday, when I came back, my battery in my car went dead. Okay, so we're already going through a lot of financial issues, and then my battery in my car, that it was a fairly unnecessary thing. I didn't think my battery needed to be replaced, but I had to leave my car in the parking lot for a few hours while we try to figure stuff out. And by the grace of God, I think I had just gotten like a reimbursement or something that morning for my job where I was able to get a new battery, but we didn't have money at the time. We didn't have the money to do that at the time. And so, all of that to say, when your money mindset is in a different space and you're not in the space where you're having to just catch things all the time, you can really focus on building for the future and building for your legacy, like we talk about so much here, and in this group, in the I Am We community for North Carolina Black Women's Roundtable. Hopefully, you talk about these things with your family because it starts with you. It absolutely starts with you. If you did not grow up in a situation where this information wasn't readily available to you, fine. But if you're watching right now, you don't get to use that excuse anymore because you now know. And when you know better, you do better. And it doesn't start tonight. It's not going to, be different tomorrow unless one of you hit the lottery, and then I need you to call me. But it starts with you, and it starts with you changing your mindset. So let's talk about what mindsets look like. So you can have a negative mindset about money, and that mindset looks like fear of missing out. So FOMO. FOMO is a thing, and I know it's a thing. Fear of missing out can be fear of missing out on a feeling. So you see somebody who's getting these Bath and Body Works candles, and they are so excited about their purchase, and they're like, "Oh my goodness, these candles! I got my candles for what? They were like $9.50 last week. I got to get these candles because whatever they're feeling, whatever that excitement that they're feeling when they're ordering these candles, I have to now go get these candles. And if I don't, I'm going to miss out on that feeling." I know because it happened to me. However, I did not buy any candles. I did not spend any money because of the simple fact that I knew that was not in my plan. I knew it wasn't in my plan. And any year before now, I totally would have gone out and gotten my candles for this sale that they have every single year. But because I wasn't in that space of fear of missing out, I didn't. I'm proud of myself, really, because I love Bath and Body Works. I used to work there, and I spent all of my money in Bath and Body Works every single time I got paid. Kept stuff for years, okay? But fear of missing out is a negative mindset. So you're looking for something. You're possibly thinking that you're going to miss out on a trend. You're going to miss out on a feeling. You're going to miss out on something. And so that you don't miss out on that thing, you spend money when you don't need to. Okay? So that's number one. Number two is a negative mindset about money is feeling defeated. So oftentimes, I've even talked about this where you're in a situation and you just don't see a way out. And because you don't see that way out, it's like, oh like, what am I going to plan for? What's the point of me planning? Because stuff is going to happen all the time. And there's no need for me to plan because something's always going to come up. Yes, something's always going to come up. I mean, you can best bet that there will be something. But when you're planning for it, when you have a plan and something deviates outside of that plan, it's so much easier for you to grab that one thing versus trying to juggle all the things at one time and not having a structured place for it to go. But if you have that one thing that happens every once in a while, then that's so much easier to maintain as you go forward in this journey than you just leaving it up to chance that things are going to fall in your lap perfectly. It's not going to happen. But You have you have to seek order in your finances. You absolutely have to seek order in what you're doing because it really does make it more manageable for you on a regular basis. Again, watch last week talking about the budget and why it's so important to budget because when you're budgeting, you get yourself in a position where you're on a routine and then those surprises don't take you off track so badly because you kind of already planned for this. You've kind of already planned for the what is it called, the foxes in the vine, or basically the little things that'll happen in your life that they seem big when everything's happening, but when it's all tidied up and put in a box and you have some framework around it, it makes it a little bit easier. So then another mindset of having a negative mindset is a lack, is procrastination. So putting it off. If you did not start your budget in November, you only first brought it to the conversation, that is procrastination and that is a negative mindset. You are putting it off for what? If you are if you know that you're in a position where you want to take control over your finances, why are you procrastinating? What has procrastination done for you in the past? Nothing. It's just a negative mindset and it's a cycle. So when you attack that thing and you take the reins on that thing, it makes a difference in the long run. You can start small today, and in 2 years, shoot, in 1 year, you will find yourself in a completely different situation. And you will look back and say, man, if I had not taken that step last year on December the ninth, I wouldn't even be here today in this great position, or even if it's a good position, or if it's even just a better position, I wouldn't even be here because I put it off for so long. You put it off long enough. Start. You got 2021 coming up. Guess what? It's nothing but time. It's gonna come regardless of if you start now or if you wait to start then, it's gonna come. But you are putting yourself in such a different situation where if an opportunity comes next year and you want to do something like invest your money, you'll be in a financial position to be able to actually do that and not miss the boat. Because investing is so important. And we're going to talk about that like later on down the road. But you want to put yourself in a position where when opportunities actually come and knock on your door, you are not sitting back saying, dang, I wish I could have. I wish I should have. I should have done. No, no, we're stopping with the excuses. The last thing about a negative mindset is you thinking that you don't actually have enough money. You think that you lack money. Look, you could be making $600,000 or you can make $6 a day. Okay? Money, lacking money, it doesn't need to be your mindset anymore. Switch your mindset. Switch your mindset. You have what you need. You have what you need. And you just have to go around, switch it up, and just make it work for you while you're working toward getting to whatever you want to get to. But you have to start somewhere. We're all going to have a lack of money at some point. It's just going to happen. But it's what you do with that money that you do have. Make it work for you. Make it work for you. Okay? So the positive mindset that we want to have after all of this is over, after you have gone on, you have established all of this greatness, and you're passing these things down to your family, the positive mindset that's going to get you there is going to be seeing the opportunities as challenges instead of obstacles. So that's number one. So, we all run into challenges. We all run into challenges. It just happens. It just happens. But if you spend your time and you're diligent about seeking the answers to get around and get through what you are trying to work towards and get through that thing, you're going to learn so much if you approach it with a positive attitude. If you look at it as a challenge, and as an opportunity instead of an obstacle. We're going to, yes, we have obstacles, and I'm not taking that away. We do have obstacles, but when you look at it as a challenge, like it's like, all right, okay, I got something to work on. I got some stuff to learn. I've got to ask some questions. I've got to get around this, and I can do it. And you have to know that you can do it. You can do it. It can be done. These people walking around here being, six-figure earners as entrepreneurs, being millionaire business owners, they may have went through the same thing, but their mindset was, let me figure out a solution to this challenge instead of just staying in the space of this obstacle is too big for me and I can't move. We're not doing that anymore. So the second thing that I want you to realize is there's flexibility in your situation. And so again, that's just something I've learned this week. Had no idea that there were options for us to save, like have a cost savings in the way that we're going to have a cost savings going into 2021. But I also talked about, us calling around and getting some, trying to get our, bills down, like our cable bill down, our phone bill down, those types of things. You have some flexibility. You have more flexibility than you think you do. Use that voice, advocate for yourself. We are in the middle of a pandemic, and I'm pretty sure that if you just use that little voice or big voice, people will be more than willing to work on your behalf so that you can find yourself in a financial position that works for you. Um, the principles for managing a little help us scale to manage a lot. If we can't manage $100, we won't be able to manage 1,000 or 1,000,000. And Ramona, that's absolutely right. I mean, it's absolutely right. You have to know how to manage the little bit that you got. And seriously, like I've been holding on to these three little dollars, $3. I've been holding on to this $3, and I mean it's kind of my son's, but he owed me because I bought his stuff. But either way, we're in the store, and we went to go shopping or whatever for Christmas stuff, and he saw this little mug, and this lady saw him and wanting the mug, and I was gonna get it for him, but she actually like stopped and talked to him and told him about Christmas and talked to him about the purpose of Christmas, and then she actually volunteered to buy the cup. So I've been saving this little $3 for him so that, as he gets older, like I can tell him this little story about, somebody just showing kindness to him. But that's a little side note. But the $3, I haven't spent that money. Now I could use this $3 and go to McDonald's for 2 days, maybe three, to get me an iced coffee in the morning because I'll do it. However, because I'm being more intentional and my mindset is shifting, I have coffee right here in the house. And we've already talked about this. I have coffee in this house. And there is no reason for me to be spending money anywhere else doing anything for coffee when I already have that resource in my house. So I have actually done really well with not using this $3 or my $3 to be able to go and get coffee. And that's just a small savings on a daily basis, but it adds up because, I used to get it 5 times a day. So that's just, it starts small. So this is $3, but this is going to multiply. It's going to multiply. Why? Because I'm, number one, keeping it. I am showing him you don't have to spend every single thing that comes through. And then at some point, I'm going to show this child how to invest. And I'm going to show him around like 7 so that he can make us millionaires and retire us early. That is the goal. So I got about 5 years. So Dr. Eve is talking about how you can start a Fat Cat account. Yes. So you can start a Fat Cat account with $5. And we actually, like, I've had mine since I was about 10, and then I've grown with having that account. But you could take change from around the house and just go get them an account. at a financial institution, and it doesn't take a lot, but as they get older, I was able to, because I had my account established at like 10, I was able to, get my first car that I wanted to finance through there. It starts, you look very, the younger you are with good credit and having a relationship with financial institutions, the better off it is for when you actually start trying to go and get stuff and growing up and, wanting to get a credit card or wanting to get a car or, those types of things. So, number three about having a positive money mindset is ask for help. Ask for help. So if you knew how to do it, you would totally do it. But you might need a little bit of coaching. You might need a little bit of reinforcement. You might need knowledge that you currently don't have. And is it Googleable? Can you Google this information? Yes, but do you actually know the questions to ask to be able to get to the information that you need? And if the answer is no, then that's great because that's what I'm here for. But you have to ask for help. Nobody can help you if they don't know what's going on. Nobody can help you change your situation if you're not vulnerable enough to say that you actually need help. Oh, I was talking to myself, sorry. I had a moment with myself just now, but it's absolutely true. Nobody can help you in your situation as it is right now if you don't open your mouth and say, I need help learning how to do this. I want knowledge in learning how to do this. And so the final thing in the positive mindset is recognizing that you have to start small. It's small steps that make the big leaps. I kid you not. It's a small thing. So for me and Dr. Eve, I know that the both of us are working really hard to make sure that we don't spend money on coffee outside of our house. Dr. Eve, how you doing on that? So you have to start small. So even though that's saving me $1 a day, if I'm working 200 days a year and I'm spending $1 a day on coffee or however much, because some of y'all have expensive taste. I know Tia posted earlier this week that she loves Starbucks, and I know Starbucks is expensive, but Starbucks is out of the way for me, so I don't have those problems. But if you're spending $1 a day, that's just $200. But if you're spending $5 a day at Starbucks, that's $1,000. If you're doing this 200 times a year, that's $1,000. Do you know how much money you can make if you put that $1,000 in the stock market? That return on your money will set you up and your children up and your future generations up so much further than that satisfaction of having that yummy cold iced coffee or hot iced coffee or hot coffee. It'll take you much, 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 much further. So, one thing that I want to leave you all with tonight is we're going to come up with a money mantra. And what this is going to dictate is I want you to say this to yourself every single day because this is going to be the start of you changing your money mindset. So, my money mantra is going to be, oh, Dr. E said it's $2,000 a day. See, $2,000 a day that she's saving on coffee from not buying it in a year. I like the way that sounds. So just imagine you getting like a 100% return on that the $2,000 in the stock market because it can be done. But again, we'll talk about that later. Um, so our money mantra, I want you to type it in the comments. And my money mantra is going to be, let's see, I will not, excuse me, it has to be a positive. So it needs to be affirmation. So I will be intentional with every dollar that I have going forward today. I will be intentional with every single dollar. So that means for me, I'm not buying anything that we don't need. And that is hard because what that even goes down to like our groceries and stuff. I am a bulk buyer. So we're gonna scale it back. We have plenty of stuff in the house right now. I'm not doing the bulk buying, you know, starting today. I'm not spending money on stuff we don't need. So y'all have to hold me to that. And I want y'all to ask me every week, how have I been doing? Because that is a habit that I picked up from having a scarcity mindset, from having a lack thereof mindset, from having a but I had a pandemic mode mindset before the pandemic hit, okay? And now that is me starting being intentional about continuing my healing journey because I'm still healing from my financial trauma. I got it too. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm not buying anything that can't make me more money. That's what I'm talking about, Dr. Eve. I'm right there with you. And honestly, another thing that I've been doing is when I get the urge to want to buy stuff unnecessarily, I'll put that money to the side and I will invest that money. I've mentioned this before. I'll just invest it. If I like that money that I was going to spend on those candles last week, I just went ahead and bought some more stock with that because I said, oh, so you got the money left over. Great. We're gonna put it in the stock market. I've already made money off of that money. Those candles will smell good, but I probably wouldn't even use them because I don't burn candles really, really often. I have some really good candles that I use, but I don't even have Bath and Body Works candles. I was just getting in on the hype because I do it too. So, what is your money mantra? And we're going to use that pretty much for the next 6 months. And we'll switch it again in 6 months. But for now, we're going to make this money mantra our thing. So we need to, tell ourselves at least once a day. If we have to put it on our mirror, on a sticky note, on your desk, in your car, on your cell phone, make it so that you have to look at it every day and then you have to hold yourself accountable for what you're making an affirmation to for yourself because this is starting with you and it's starting with your mindset. It all starts with you. So I'm so excited to have come again tonight. Again, I am Yolanda Macumbe, and I'm coming here as a, you know, representative of the North Carolina Black Women's Roundtable. I am We Community. I am We grantee, and I'm grateful for this experience that we've had thus far. I am a part of NC Block, so many other things. So just please know if you want me to help you along with this journey, and it really does start with your mind, I'm more than happy to coach you into this because you can't, it's not something that we're supposed to do by ourselves. And I say it all the time, but I know for sure that, it's not something that we're supposed to do on our own. It's not something that we're supposed to do by ourselves. And we're a community of people who need to be able to pass this information on so that we can be able to move forward as a people because we have to get what's ours. And we don't have to take it by any means necessary, but we're gonna start with the knowledge. And then whatever you choose to do with it is on you. But we're gonna start with the knowledge. So I hope you have a good evening. Please let me know what your mantra is. I'm so excited to hear these mantras, and we're going to remind each other quite often. And know that I'm here as a resource. It's scary to ask for help, and trust me, I know, especially for someone who is used to handling things on their own and used to handling things. But at some point, you got to open your mouth and you have to say, I'm not an expert at this, but there's somebody who has a ministry in this, and I'm going to let that person utilize their ministry. So I'll leave you with this. I know I probably will. I'm not going to jack it up. Hold on. There is a story in the Bible about these people getting gifts and what the people did with the gifts. Um, the one person, they hid their gift for whatever reason. And then you had the one person who spent all their gifts and talents. And then you have the person who actually went and made it multiply. And that's where we're trying to get to. We're trying to be the wise person who makes this stuff multiply so that the people who are coming up after us, they don't have to start with building the knowledge part. They can start with the application part and just roll with it and keep this thing going. So thank you all. I hope you have a good evening. And please, please let me know what your mantra is. And I hope you have a great rest of your week. Bye.